Shambho, Mahadev, 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 Mahadev. Om Shanti. Yes. So, Gayatri, how it is utilized, we spoke about it in the last class. And Chandogya Upanishad, always I said that it also connects the physical level, then goes to the Brahman. Brihadaranya goes in the spiritual level itself. So many of the explanations that are connected with the life and life form, Jivatmas, because they are the ones who need the tapasya, the penance, and the rituals and other spiritual practices to follow in order to liberate themselves into true spirituality and true Atma Sakshatkaram and Parabrahma Sakshatkaram. So it's a junction point, it's connection of the Shari, connection of the Jivatma to the Paramatma, where many of the demarcations and identifications have been made. So many of them, many literature, many of the principles have described mostly about the mind and the connection mind and indriyas and sharira, because that is the one we have the true anubhuti of. The avasthas, three avasthas, Jagrata, Swapna, Sushupta avastha. All this happens only to the mind and the sharira. Who has got the mind? Whoever has got the mind only, the three avasthas are there. Even though none of them are true, the avastha is only one, but they are all perceptions of the mind. When he is in Jagrata avastha, he has a different perception, and when he is in Swapna and Sushupta, different ones. But it is there. So we have to create a junction point, we have to create an identification, how a transition, a smooth travel has to be practiced, has to be taking place to the Jivatma and to the Paramatma. So many things, certain things here and there you will find they are all very physical. That is only where the Pauranic informations are there, where certain perceptions of the mind has been also included here. Like these practices, chanting of mantras, mano trayati iti mantra, manat trayate iti mantra is also. So like that, they are all transforming the mind. Then we spoke about the mind in the last class, that how the soma rasa that happens, how this practices can be made so that the soma, that reflection, can be created, and the mind, even though the mind is there, the mind will be there so long the Sharira and Jivatma is there, but reflection has to be directly towards the Antaratma. That we have detailed last time about the Somrasa and then how that transformation takes place. Now, continuing with that, so what happened? This one of the methods he has suggested is that he emphasizes, Maharishi emphasizes here that Gayatri is the speech, Gayam Trayate, iti Gayatri. Gayanath Trayate, iti Gayatri, also there are 3-4 methods how you can approach it. See. Gayanath Trayate iti Trayate, that should liberate you from that. So that Gayam, 24 feet, 6 feet, 4 feet, and the 6 divisions. That's what is called the 24 padas. That by chanting that, how the mind, we told about this also, how by chanting it, how the mind get transformed into, the reflection towards the recipient of the soma, the knowledge. Everything is connected with that knowledge. Soma is that again, the knowledge. So that knowledge has to come. When the mind gets absorbed in knowledge, only this can be transformed smoothly towards the Antaratma or Atma. So the realization of the Atma should be visible in the clear reflective mind where there are no other inhibitions are incorporated. When the mind is working with the intelligence and reflecting on the results of the attractions that has been created by the indriyas, the clarity to reflect from the Antaratma is not there, so the inhibitions are not connected. Inhibitions will be connected only with the indriyas and the experiences of the attraction that has been created with a wrong perception. But when he is drunk with the knowledge, the inhibitions, the reflections are absolutely perfect based on through the analysis being done through the knowledge. So actually, those becomes absolutely perfect. That's what we explained in the last classes. Am I right? Do you remember? Yes. So we continue with that. So he said, we literally word that 4 padas was the glory of the Lord and the 2 padas was the prayers. Somebody's opinion, there are hundreds of opinions, so one opinion is this. Having known it, let us go through it, there is nothing wrong in it. Gayatri has been identified as a 5-faced goddess. Gayatri. You will find that many of the Ayurvedic, the real original Ayurvedic, hospitals or pharmacies or where the healing is taken place. In Vedic science also, many of the Vaidyas, they have explained Gayatri as the 5-faced. I told you why it is she. This also I have explained. Because of the Prakriti and nature, not the Purusha, that we said the connection. So that is why it's a Gayatri. So Gayatri, the 5-faced goddess. The 5 faces are nothing but Pancha Pranas. Okay. So the one who is holding the Pancha Pranas under control, the one who is making the Pancha Pranas function in the right manner is Gayatri. So Devata in you. So the Devata in you is the controller of the Panchapranas, or the Panchapranas are the Devata. Is why externally, representing the 5 phases of the Gayatri. There are temples in Ayurvedic centers, especially in South it is there. I do not know about the other places, I have no experience, but I know about southern part of the country where the hospital is there and where they have got the temple of the 5-faced goddess Gayatri, where every patient is supposed to go and pray. It is made a ritual. Principle B, I say again, even though many of them they do not know whom are they praying, who is this goddess, what is the principle behind it, many of them might not be knowing, and there may be very few who will be explaining it. I do not know. At least I don't know about it. There might be, definitely. If we are seeing it here, there also it might be there, but how many they know, how many explain, we do not know. The principle is that, praying to the Gayatri. Yes, praying to Gayatri. Praying to the Panchapranas. A prayer to Panchaprana, what it should be? What should be the prayer to Panchapranas? That the prana should function properly, that's all. What is the prayer? Let it be function properly. So each and every prana has to function in its own manner, in the right way, so that the Pancha Pranas, we were talking about the Indriyas and Mana earlier, before this. See, gradually they are coming inside this earlier. No? We started with so many things and we have come to pranas. The prana is provided not by the individual, not by the father, not by the mother. That's why the father and mother are known as bhutas. Matter. Bhuta. Bhuta means matter. Bhutas, that which is external. In order to create a sharira, in order to give a shape of the sharira, in order to have a cause of creation of sharira. I won't say even creating a sharira. A cause of creation of the physical body is the reason why the bhutas are there. The bhutas are the shaktis, so that is the father and mother. But the prana is not given by the father and mother. Prana is not given by any of these. Prana is given only by that which is the source, which is known as Paramatman, which is known as the Parabrahman. From there only the prana we get, the vayu we get, the prana vayu we get. The circulation of prana vayu begins, even though the prana is inducted, but the circulation of the pancha pranas takes place only when the child comes in contact with the world outside. Then only this pancha prana circulation is necessary. That is why. When the child is in the womb or when the child is not formed, the function of the pancha pranas are not necessary, so it is not functional. Once it is with the Panchabhutas outside, that's called external. Once it is with the Panchabhutas, in order to protect the Panchabhutas, the prana, yama is necessary, and it is a process which is automatic, which is not in the control of anyone. Only thing what happens during the living, during the period of living, the Jivatma can practice these Pancha Pranas function in the right manner. Again, the function of the Pancha Pranas also is done by the mind. Mana. Mana is a very important factor even for controlling the Pancha Pranas. Why? Because there has to be jnanam. The jnanam has to be absorbed in, and the jnanam has to be distributed. Then only the control and proper direction of the Panchaprana's function can be directed. In fact, there may be a question, in my mind also there was a question. If the prana is given by the Lord, if the prana is given by the Parabrahman, if the prana has been inducted in which is not created by anybody, why we should control? Can it not have the capacity to control by itself? If that is so powerful, is it not? Absolutely right. Do we have a control over pranas? Can you hold the prana? Can you leave the prana? Can you acquire the prana? Can you divert the prana, deviate the prana, dissolve the prana? Is it possible? It is not possible. It has its own function. Then what are you doing by the pranayama? Don't think that you are creating the pranayama is that you are making the prana function. No, it's not that. The prana function. Is it leaking?
It's too much about that. I don't know whether it's flowing. This one. Oh, blaze.
So making the prana function, make it, you can move that.
To keep something in it.
So making the prana function is not in anybody's hand, it functions automatically. But then what are we doing? What do you mean by the pranayama, controlling and things like that? The only thing is that because of the ignorance, because of we not having the knowledge, the mind, because of the obstruction created by that, what happens? There are blockages created in the path and passage, in the bhuta, in the sharira, in the mana. So the proper flow, that which has been designed, is being obstructed because of the karmas that is done by the mana and indriyas. When it does a wrong karma, which is not designed for, the flow of prana is affected. Is why there is an imbalance in the body. So the pranayama has been physically created is why? Because to remove that blockage is created by the mind, remove that ignorance from the mind, remove that avidya from the mind. Once it is removed and it is absorbed in the knowledge, the prana automatically functions by itself. There is no more necessity of any other what we think as pranayama as an exercise. It's not necessary if everything is normal. This has become necessary because we have created imbalances in the sharira and mana. So having created the imbalances in the sharira and mana, this is to be regulated. So in order to regulate, there are methods. They have tried to find out methods, and many methods have been derived. So yogic practices are based on those methods. A tapasvi who is in tapasya for years, what pranayama does he? I mean, physical pranayama does he do? But his pranayama is perfect. His pancha pranas are functioning perfect. His physical body, his mind, everything works perfect. There are no diseases and disabilities in him. Yes. There are no problems, even though he has not been doing any of these, what we call it as exercises for the physical body. So you understood what I am trying to tell you? Why? Because he, during the tapasya, has created the highest consciousness, reflecting in the mind, where he made the soma rasa being drunk by the mind, and where the reflection of that jnanam is embedded, imposed on the mind, where the reflection of the indriyas, what happens at that point of time, the reflection of the indriyas that is being done, is analyzed by the jnanam that is provided, not by the intelligence and emotions. Therefore, his balances are perfect, so the pancha pranas are perfect, functioning. Is why that physical exercises are not necessary. Yes. With folded legs, folded hands, he sits like that for hours together, days together, months together. When he wakes up, he doesn't have a cramp. He doesn't fall down. He doesn't have a blood pressure falling down. He doesn't get the giddiness. Normally we sit for 5 hours and get up, then we are not able to walk a few steps properly. Is it not? Sit for a while, 2 hours, 3 hours in a flight and all. While getting up, then you have to stretch, somebody has to pull you, somebody has to push you. Then only we are able to walk properly. But for him, after sitting for months together, years together, he gets up and walks. No cramps, no problem. Why? So you understood what I am trying to do. When the consciousness, the highest consciousness is being reflected on that, everything is controlled by that. Everything becomes normal, what we are supposed to. Why it is not normal? So the question what I asked is that when the prana is provided by the Lord, why it cannot function by itself? It is functioning by itself, it is only that we have provided obstacles to its function is the reason why it's not functioning, and that has to be removed, and that removal can be done only by the jnanam. Here in this chapter, Maharishi says, this jnanam can be provided by Gayatri, not only by chant, not only by understanding the meaning of Gayatri. The words are so arranged by the experts, by the Maharishis and Tapasvis, that by chanting this Gayatri, automatically certain vibrations are created, and those vibrations will create certain awakenings in the physical part of the mind, and because of those vibrations, the mind can be directed. That is why the Gayatri Japa, Gayatri Yajna is being done, Yajna being done, Gayatri Japa being done, Gayatri Puja being done, all based so that the mind is directed towards the jnanam. Mind is directed to the jnanam. Is why the prayer, the 2 lines below, the last one, Dhiyo Yonaha Prachodayat. Hey, Bhagavan, Prachodayat, awaken that Dhiyo Buddhi Bodham in me, is what praying. So, last 2 lines are prayer, the other 4 are glories. Dhiyo Yonaha Prachodayat. Praying. So when honestly, when it comes from the Jivatma, these prayers, some kind of concentrating the mind, attracting the mind towards that absorption of the knowledge, so that it can reflect directly towards the Antaratma, where the knowledge is constantly being projected. This has been told a number of times. There is no necessity of somebody directing oneself to the knowledge. Knowledge is always there, knowledge is always projected. Yes. Paramatman is always there, Atma Sakshatkaram is always there, Parabrahma Chaitanyam is always there. Only thing, we have to direct ourselves towards that Chaitanya. Yes. Sunlight is always there, only thing, in order to enjoy that, we have to go out from the shade to the sun, so you enjoy the sunlight. Sunlight is not provided individually for somebody. Jnanam is not provided individually for somebody. No, it is for everyone, because it is all pervading. There is no restriction for anybody to absorb the knowledge. There is no caste, creed and religion for absorbing the knowledge. There is no eligibility of whether one is a poor or a rich man, whether one is small, big, wrong, learned, not learned. Nothing, no classifications are there. Everything, every Jivatma, everything that is in the universe is eligible to absorb the knowledge. Only thing he should become eligible for that by associating himself directly with the knowledge. Disassociation and making himself as an individual separately, where he is identifying of aham. I told you last class how the aham, what part by part that has been identified last time we explained it. That knowledge has to come. When that knowledge comes, automatically what happens? This individuals who thinks they are individuals will automatically dissolve. When that dissolving of the individuality takes place, the ajnanam, avidya in the mind is taken out, the function of the indriyas, the function of the mana, function of the panchapranas, function of the panchabhutas, function of the indriya, dashendriyas, everything becomes normal. When it becomes normal, what happens? Then the association with the Parabrahman automatically takes place. Atma Sakshatkaram automatically happens. This jnanam, absorbing the jnanam, and this jnanam doesn't come by learning books. Jnanam doesn't come by qualifying in universities particular subjects. As I always said, that they are all necessary for training you to do a trade in your life, so that you will be in a position to execute your karmas properly. Learning cooking, is that what one requires? So he learns cooking and he experiences from that. Learning operating a machine is his karma, so he learns that trade properly, and he honestly and with an expertise he executes that, so he fulfills the karma. If he doesn't learn it properly, he is not able to execute it properly. Same way, each and every subject that we are learning is only meant for execution of karmas, for in order to provide us the knowledge. That is not the knowledge. Jnanam is that only based on the tapasya that you do, penance you do, identification you do of the Parabrahman. So that is one of the methods where the mind can be influenced, is why the Gayatri has been introduced. So as we said that how Gayatri could acquire the somarasya to the mind compared to Trishtukti and Jagati. Trishtup and Jagati. So he said, Om Bhurbhuvaha Swaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonaha Prachodayad. O God, thou art the giver of life. Bhur, we said about the Bhur. The five-headed goddess, we said, is that Pancha Pranas, domain of senses of the pranas. Which are the pranas? Apana, Samana, Vyana, Prana, Udana. They are the Pancha Pranas. They have been divided depending upon the functions that is necessary for the physical body, and different bodies. 5 bodies they have divided into 5 bodies depending upon prana. So for each one that has been provided like that. So word by word meaning, when you go into Gayatri, Om is Brahma. Bhur, embodiment of vital, spiritual energy. It is called prana. Bhur means embodiment of vital, spiritual energy, which is known as prana. Bhuvaha, destroyer of sufferings. Bhuvaha means the world which is all pervading. So, who is the destroyer of the sins, destroyer of sufferings, destroyer of sins, weekend. Swaha, embodiment of happiness. Swaha, embodiment of happiness in the sense. Well, we will explain it again further. Tat is that. Sahvitur, bright like sun. Varenium, best, choicest. Varenium. Bhargo, destroyer of sins. Bhargo, destroyer of sins. Devasya is divine. Devigata, divine. Devigata. So these are the five. These are the 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These 9 words describe the glory of the God. That you are the spiritual, prana, you are the remover of the sufferings, you are the happy embodiment of happiness, you are the bright like sun, you are best of the choicest, you are the destroyer of sins, you are divine. So these are the glories. Next is the meditation, tapasya. What is that? Dhimahi is tapasya. Dhimahi. Dhimahi is that may imbibe. May imbibe is Dhimahi. That pertains to meditation. May imbibe the Dhiyo, Yonaha, Dhiyo, that Buddhi Bodham, may imbibe in me is Dhimahi. Dhimahi, Devasya Dhimahi. Dhimahi means put all these things into me. Dhimahi. Dhiyo means intellect. Bodham, not buddhi, bodha, intellect. Yo, who, naha, our, prachodayat, may inspire. Dhiyo yona prachodayat is a prayer to the God. So please inspire that bodham in me. Which is the bodham? That devasya dhimahi. That bodham. To be the deva. Who is the deva? Deva is that Om Brahma. Om is Brahma. What is Brahma? Brahma is not the Srishtikarta. No. Brahma is Srishtikarta. This has been divided. Brahman has been divided into 3 for facilitating certain explanations to Trideva, certain explanations to Jivatmas, because to divide the life into 3 parts, they called it as Tridevas. Even in the body, there are Tridevas. Yes. Even the body itself is Trideva, consisting of Tridevas. The universe is also Trideva. See, there cannot be anything different from the universe and the body. Why? Because everything that is you is Sukshma, everything that is you is the Sthula also. That which is in the universe only that you have. That whatever you have is nothing different from the universe. They are all in the different Mahatra that is there in us. That's all. So Om, Brahma. Brahma is Om, Omkaram. So what happened in the yogic Vidya, Yoga Vidya, and also I have told you in meditation, and also when you explain about the chakras, yes. Omkaram comes from the Sahasra Chakra, we said. Yes. What is the principle behind? How it is connected? Om is from Sahasra Chakra. It's not from somebody has just told that out of the blue. Om is Brahma. Om is Brahman. Om is also Brahma, if you want to say. Brahma is a Srishtikarta. Any Srishti that happens in the world or in the body is created by a Brahma. Whoever is that. In your mind, in a Jivatma's mind, or in a Sharira, or in this one, a Srishti is created by his Bodha Avastha. Is it not? Thought is created by you because of your experience of previous life, this life, or jnanam that you acquired. Diksha you have received, Jnanam you have acquired, whichever manner knowledge has been acquired by you, you create something in you, is it not? That creation is done by an inspiration created in your mind. Yes. I am reading a book because that inspiration has been given from somewhere. So the mind tells me to do the reading of the book, so I am reading the book. Is it not? So what happens? When somebody is telling the mind to do that, he is creating a Srishti. He is a Srishtikarta. So who is the Brahma? The Brahma is in you. As in the universe. Everything that happens is created by him. This again happens. So the universe and you. So the Brahma. So the Brahma is who? The Brahma is the Jnana, which we do not know how it comes. It is not based on the knowledge that we have acquired by learning a subject. Is it not? Nobody learns how to walk. Nobody learns how to eat. There are so many things, 90% of the things that we do in our life is not learned. It automatically happens. From where? From the Jnana. So the Brahman, that Omkaram is this. Omkaram is this. Om is this. Om is this. Why? Because the Agya Chakra and the Sahasra Chakra, where we consider that is a place where the Jnanam is created, where the Jnanam is transmitted into the mind, from where this has to be developed. So when the connection of the Agya Sahasra Chakra and the Ajna Chakra, the third eye, Agya Chakra, is connected with the celestial beings and celestial function, our instructions will be directed by the celestial beings, which is the supernatural consciousness and consciousness, the power of consciousness, to the mind, who is supposed to direct the function of the Jivatma throughout life. Is Omkar. So by Om representing that, so when you chant the Om, according to them, these vibrations are created in the Sahasra and the Agya Chakra is why Om. Simply. Is why Om is incorporated. Bhu, embodiment of vital, which is Prana. Bhu also is Prithvi. Bhumi is also Bhu. Because Bhumi is also created by the Panchabhutas, and it is very necessary in order to be on the earth, being on the earth for experiencing and experimenting. And the prana is necessary only when one is in the Prithvi, only one is in the Bhumi, Prithvi. One who is not in the Bhumi, for him the prana is not necessary. Why? Because the Panchabhutas are not there to be controlled. Because we have to control the Panchabhutas, the consciousness, that energy, to be preserving in the physical body and making the Panchabhutas function properly, we require a prana. Yes? So that the life form in us can be kept alive. That prana, which is creating that temperature in us. That prana, one prana creates the temperature. One prana subsides the temperature. One prana controls the temperature. Many things are there. The physical body is functioning always, constantly at just below boiling point. You are all, each and every one is a hot boiling point, is it not? 98.6 degrees centigrade is your temperature. 100 degrees is the boiling point. 1.4 less. Am I right or not? If you are not that, you are considered to be not normal. Have you thought of it? It has to be 98.6, otherwise you are not normal. So what are you? Agni, Vaishwanaram, we said in the Upanishads. If the Agni, Vaishwanaram is not there, nothing will function inside the body. The blood to circulate, you require that temperature in the body, otherwise the blood will not circulate. It'll clot. So you are a fire. Actually, each one is a fireball. Each one is a fireball. But imagine that fire which is there in 98.6 degrees centigrade, which is functioning, which is you cannot even touch. Can you touch 98 degrees when it is something is hot like that? Can you touch? But you see, even though you are that, but your fingers, your skin, your face, your bones, your muscles, none of them are affected by that temperature. If otherwise, externally, if you are provided with a 98.6 degree temperature, you will be burnt. You will have third degree burns, you will have second degree burns, or whatever it is. You will have discomfort, is it not? Alright. Well, it is science, so everybody should understand there is no secret in this. You got my point? How sacred the creation is. Even though you are a fireball, none of your organs are burning. You are digesting food at that temperature because that temperature is there. You are making the blood travel through your body because of that temperature is there. That's why the blood is hot, is it not? We all must have felt the blood when it is flushed or when it is taken out immediately. It is very hot, very hot. Then only it is traveling. And blood travels all over. A skin depth, no, just a partition of skin is there. Outside is cool. Now you explain me conduction theory. There are so many things, no, conductivity, conduction theory, heat transfusion, heat transmission, that, this we are talking about big. What theory is this, you tell me? I want somebody to make me understand. How this 98.6 is not being, affecting the skin. They say because of the number of pores provided in the skin, there is a radiation, and because of that there is a cooling system takes place in the skin. But with all that, you see, with thick steel, metal or things like that, when you pour 98.6 degree liquid inside, because of the conduction, even though it also conducts the heat, when you touch it, it is very hot. Here it is very close by, it is not even, what is the skin depth, small skin, 1 millimeter, 7 layers, maybe in 7 layers, but it is 1 millimeter thick. Altogether, put together is only 1 millimeter or 1.5, less than 1 millimeter thick. In that 1 millimeter, this conduction is not taking place. How the technology functions in the Sharira. How beautiful the system has been provided. With all the, even though you go to Himalayas, your blood is 98.6 degrees only. Even if you eat ice cream, the system is 98.6 degrees. You sit in the cold winter weather, whatever it is, your system still functions at 98.6. It neither increases nor reduces by the external influence. You understand what I am trying to tell you is that the external influence doesn't affect the system, the prana. Why? Because it is not connected with the external system, is what I am trying to tell you. That is why I said prana is not from the external environmental system like body. Body feels heat and cold outside. Yes, but inside the temperature is same because the prana functions in the right manner. If the prana can functions in the right manner, that which is not affected by the external sources, there is no influence whether you sleep in the air-conditioned room or whether you sleep in the hot room. Whether you are sleeping or waking state or dreaming state, your body temperature is same. Whether you are emotional, whether you are anxious, whether you are angry, whether you are upset, whether you are greedy, whether you are jealous, your body temperature is same. Yes. People ask, garam kyo ho rahe ho? Why you are so hot? Because of the temperature. I mean, the anger we say hot. Why you are so hot? Actually, you just go and measure his thermometer and temperature, an angry man's temperature. Easy, 105.7. No, it is 98.6. No more hot, no? Hot-headed, hot-blooded. There are so many words we use. Only thing to compare that which is to do exaggerating. That's all. They are not factuals. So what I am trying to tell you is that prana is not influenced by the external sources because it has not been provided by the Panchabhutas. The reason being, I am telling you, why you tell me and all that. The Panchabhuta is different, prana is different. Even though the prana is there in the Panchabhutas, to protect the Panchabhuta, Panchabhuta cannot control the prana, but prana can control the Panchabhuta. So how the prana is controlling the Panchabhuta is why I am not feeling the heat outside, is the answer for my own question. Since prana is controlling the Panchabhuta is not controlling the prana. Had the Panchabhuta been controlling the prana, I would have felt the same heat outside the body. So we cannot touch each other. All will be hot. Why this is not happening? Why? Because prana is controlling the Panchabhuta. Prana has to keep the Panchabhutas in that situation, depending upon necessity. That's why all this construction has been done. So the Panchabhutas constitution, Panchabhutas construction has been done based on the principle of constitution created by the prana. Is why prana leaves the body, body doesn't leave the prana. When prana leaves the body immediately becomes cold. Yes. So we say, he is cold, finished. That's all, dead. Body is dead. If that temperature is not there, but that temperature is there, I have never felt the temperature any time. Did we feel 98.6 degrees? No, not at all. See how beautiful it is. Creation is that, you see. Who has controlled all this? This is called creation. This is called the creation that created by we call it as God, we call it as nature, we call it as Prakriti, we call it as God, we call it as Brahman, we call it as consciousness, we call it as whatever you call it. Any physical word that you can be happy with, you can call that whatever it is. But whatever it is the fact is that the prana is the one which is making. Now, the prana is provided by the consciousness, and the prana is sustaining by the jnanam. That superior jnanam that inside us is the reason why the prana is functioning in the physical body. Because prana has its own intelligence. Let me put it that way, even though that sentence is not right. Prana has its own knowledge, let me put it that way. So that the prana individually, according to his decisions, he is functioning in the body. When people live in the house, we call it as home. When people are not living in the house, we call it as house. For brick walls and the doors and windows, whatever expensive it may be, it may not be wonderful, it may not be beautiful, it will not be usable. If people are living inside, the life form is living inside, then each and every window, each and every wall, each and every space has its importance. Is it not? Otherwise they are just bare walls and rooms, that's all. Then we call it as different names for the places, and these different places have got different importance. Puja room has got a different importance. Where you meditate has got different importance. Where you sit and think has got different importance. Where you sleep, where it has got different importance. These importances are created in a house because there is a life form living in that. Same way. In a Sharira, the importance of the divisions of the Sharira is created. Tridevas, that's how I started, are created by the function of the pranas. Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. Balancers. This is the Tridevas. The Tridevas are put together in the physical body. All the Tridevas have to function inside the body also. As the function, universe is balanced by the Tridevas. If the universe is balanced by the Tridevas, body is also balanced by the Tridevas. Is it not? It's understood? Clear? Why? Because that which is there in the external is in the Sukshma Rupa it is here, in the Sthula Rupa it is there, where everything is the same. There is no difference. Is why it is known as Bhuta. As we create a potter makes a pot out of the mud and creating the space different, we are creating the body and creating a space as different, even though they are not different. This understanding, the one who understands this, he releases from the attachment of the body. A potter is not worried about the pot while making. If it breaks, he is not worried. Why? Because that broken pot again he will mix along with the mud and make another pot. Is he worried about it? So many pots must be breaking while he is making it, while storing it, while transmitting it or transporting it. No, he is not worried about it. Right? He knows it is not important. After all, the mud is plenty there. I can always make another one. You see, there is no problem. No? He always knows that. Same way. If a person knows this secret of this, that if this body goes, I am not dying, I will make another pot. I will create another body. If this secret is known, will somebody worry about death? No. That's why he said, the remover of, what is that? Sins. Destroyer of sins. When he knows that he will not commit a sin, why one is committing a sin? In order to keep this ahankara, the identity of me as I am, is why we are committing sins. Because one thinks, even though we see that everybody is dying around us, we never thought that we will also die. Maybe sometimes that is the smashana vairagya is coming. Sometimes we think we will also die. But then immediately we will change our thought. No, let me not think about death. Ashubh nahi baat karna chahiye. Death is the only fact and we call it as Ashubh. Why? Because we are scared of it. You see. That's the thing. No, let us not think about death now. We have so many other things to do. So let us not think. No, we ourselves think about death. Your own death, you think sometimes it comes, no, in our mind. You suddenly become conscious. No, why I am thinking about death? Forget about it now. There are so many other things to be attended to. Immediately my ahankara will take me back towards keeping my fame, keeping my position, keeping my sharira, keeping my identity as it is. Struggling the whole life in order to keep this identity, only to lose. The more you try to anchor on it, the more it goes disappointedly lost. If I know the identity in the right sense, I don't lose the identity. Since I do not know the identity, I am holding on to the false identity, I have to be disappointed when I lose my false identity. When I know my identity, I am not worried, I am not unhappy about it, I am not disappointed about it. What is that identity? That Aham Brahmasmi is the identity. I am not this Sharira, I am not this relations, I am not this I have this. That is why I have my. We always say that. My hand, my nose, my eyes, my hair, my body, my heart, my mind. Who is that me? So I told you earlier also. Ramana Maharshi said this. He said, ask who is that me? Why you are saying my hand? Whose hand? Who is that me? My body. Oh, my whole body is aching. Who is that me who is telling that my body is aching? He says, who is that me? Find out who is that. Is what Ramana Maharshi said. Your body is aching. Who are you? That means you are not the body. You have a body. So your body is aching. Yes. Is what Ramana Maharshi said. It's wonderful. Same thing is that Gayatri says when Bhuhu is Prithvi. Where the Panchabhutas are there, Prana is the one which is controlling the Panchabhutas. And someone else controls the Prana. That is coming later. So here we are talking in the, that's why I said no, they are connected with the physical side of it. Chandogya Upanishad is teaching us to connect us with the physical side of it, and from the existing physical side of it, it is trying to help us to transport ourselves, transform ourselves, transit ourselves towards the absolute. From the stulata to sukshmata, he is trying to take it as. That's why he is explaining about all this. He has explained about Indriyas, he has explained about Mana, he has explained about the Indra, he has explained about each Devata in us. No, now he has explained about the importance of the connecting the importance of the Gayatri to the Sharira. So this body is Gayatri. Is it not? This body is Gayatri. Ultimately it comes to that only. What else? Even though you are divided into a number of parts, Gayatri is body. A person who has understood the body is Gayatri, and if he starts functioning as Gayatri, who is the Gayatri? The Brahman, who is the destroyer of sins, who is making us happy, who make us towards the destroyer of sufferings, who is the brightest sun, who is the best of the choicest in the sense that who is the man who is able to discriminate himself, the discrimination, the power of discrimination, and who is Devasya, who is divine. So who understand himself as Gayatri, he has to have chant Gayatri. Does he need chanting of Gayatri? It's not necessary. The chanting of Gayatri should bring the consciousness in you. Chanting of Gayatri should create also, as he says, that it is not only the meaning of it, but also to create the vibration inside you so that it can help your mind to transform towards the absorption of the jnanam that is being provided by the Antaratma, so that he attains the Gayatri, brings the Soma from the protectors of the Soma Rasa, from the Soma kingdom. The Gayatri can bring the Soma to your mind and make it filled with the jnanam. Is that where the happiness moon, like a moon. The mind can be made exactly like a moon, Soma Rasa. Mind has to be made like a moon. That's why the connection between mind and the moon, it has to be same as that. It has to be the reflector of the light from the Surya to the Prithvi. Same way, Prithvi is what? Bhuhu. Prithvi, Sharira, Panchabhutas. Same way, the mind should be the reflector of the jnanam from the Atma to the Bhuhu, to Panchabhutas, which is called as the Sharira. Om Bhuhu. It's the meaning of Om Bhuhu. Yes? So Bhu is that also the earth, which is also the spiritual energy. Bhuhu is also, so Bhuhu is an embodiment of vital. That's called prana. So by which manner the moon is reflecting the energy to the earth, that which is received from the sun. From the jnanam, from the antaratma, from the atma, parabrahman, from the brahman, from the atma, paramatma, how the intellect and the mind is absorbing the jnanam and reflecting it to the sharira, so that the sharira can function. That is done through prana. That is called the energy. What is prana? Nothing but energy. We call it as energy. Prana has no other shape and form. It is not liquid, it is not gaseous. It's not smoke, it is not fire. It's an energy. So that energy, functioning of energy, creates that energy so it has its own characteristics. So energy takes its own shape and form depending upon necessity. When I am talking about energy taking form and shape, doesn't mean an akara like a Ganesh, like a Shiva. Energy taking shape and form means energy becomes warm, hot, boiling hot, cold, freezing cold is the transmissions of the energy. That's called the akara of the energy. So energy can be transmitted, energy will be utilized in the system depending upon its necessity. So energy can transform itself. It doesn't require any help. Energy need not be set. You don't need an oven or you don't need a stove in order to boil the energy and make it hot and provide it inside the body. Is it necessary? No. Energy will become itself. It has its own system function because that's why I said it has its own jnanam. It has its own intelligence. Why? Because it is jnanam. It is a part of jnanam. Why? The energy is a part of jnanam. Is also jnanam. So through the energy only, through the jnanam only, this transmission is taking place. How the moon is collecting energy from the sun? How the moon is collecting light from the sun? Is an energy which is known as the jnanam. It has its capacity. We call it as capacity. It has got an absorption capacity. Sun is not providing light to moon. No. Is it not? The moon is absorbing light from the sun. Is the truth. Why? Because the moon has got the capacity to absorb it. The absorption is taken through the energy transmission. The receiver has to have the capacity because giver is always giving. When the receiver is having the capacity to absorb it, when he is meditating, moon is directly focusing to the sun, this means meditating. When he is meditating to the jnanam will be his. Is it not? And when the jnanam is his, when his identity has been identified that he is none other than the Atma, he doesn't have a Sharira, he doesn't function as an individual, he doesn't have an individuality as a physical body, his individuality is as it happens, as it directed by the Prakriti. So the Swabhava of the moon is created by the Prakriti, by the Purusha, which is not controlled by the moon. So moon is not as the sun is not transmitting light intentionally, moon is also not transmitting that light intentionally to the Bhumi, Prithvi, is not. Am I right? Are you getting it? Why I am saying all these things? Why? Because he doesn't have an individuality is why moon is able to submit or transmit that the absorbed light to the earth. Had he had an ahankara, Soma, if he had an ahankara of him as the moon who is a provider of light, he will not be able to transmit the light to earth. Is it clear? So what happens? Inside the mind, if he thinks that I am the intelligence, I am the one who is functioning to make the body function, then I have created a blockage. I am not able to transmit that light which has been absorbed by the mind from the jnanam which has been absorbed. He is unable to transmit it to the physical body. He is unable to transmit it to the prana. He is unable to transmit it to anywhere. Is why the blockages takes place. What happens then? When the moon is not transmitting light, it is dark. So in Sharira, when the mind is not reflecting that light into the Sharira, Sharira is dark means what? Dark means will not function. So for the prana to function, why I am connecting with that? You must elaborately understand things, otherwise it's not clear to the mind. So in order to make the prana function, pranayama I said no. In order to make the prana function as it is without any interruption, mind need not to help the prana to function, but mind should not create an obstacle for prana to function by not transmitting the jnanam in the body. So when the mind is clarified, mind is clear, when the mind is under the dhyanam, when mind is properly connected with, directly connected with that, not having the ahankara of the sharira as me, but having the ahankara as Atma as me, both are ahankara. But one should have an ahankara in order to make the sharira to function. So this ahankara of mind should be, I am the part of the body, I am the part of the Atma, I am the part of Atmi, I am not the part of the Atma, I am not the part of the sharira, but I am the part of the Atma. Should be the function of the mind. So this mind has to understand that in order to make it understand its own identity, that physical identity, his qualifications of the wealth, attachment of the material, attachment to the individuals, attachment to the prana, attachment to the world or worldly objects, attachment to the external objects, things like that has to be released. As I told you, in how ignorant it is if he is thinking that he is connected with the external objects. Last class I explained you how one looks at an elephant or how one looks at a mountain and he perceives that inside. Is it? So it is not the external that is matters. This knowledge has to come. It is not the external that makes me knowledgeable. It is that I create that inside. I can create one mountain. I can create 10 Everests inside me. Is it not? As big as that, you see. From the Sukshma I can create the Sthula. From Sthula I don't create the Sukshma. This knowledge has to come. When this knowledge comes, what happens? His identity changes. Like the moon has no identity by himself, we consider that as moon. Moon doesn't consider moon as moon. Sun doesn't consider sun as sun. Sun's Swabhava is automatic. Why you call it as Swabhava? Swabhava is to project the light. Moon's Swabhava is to absorb it, and Moon's Swabhava is to project it back again to the earth. Swabhava is, there is no ahankaram in that. Swabhava, that which is actually whatever it is the nature of its own, is Swabhava. Simple, is it not? That's a literal meaning also. Swabhava, that originality of that, origin of that. It has not created any adulteration to it. Moon has not created any adulteration to its own personality. His identity has not been created by, I am the one who is provider of the cool light, even though I am getting hot light from the sun, I am providing the coolness to the earth. So I am the king, Somaraja. Like any other planet, it's also going on. What's happening? I don't know. Are you submitting light? I don't know. Are you getting light? I don't know. Are you moving around the earth? I don't know. Is the status. What I mean to say is that person, I am doing that, is that identity is not there. It is happening. I am moving, it's happening. I am living, it's happening. Is what moon thinks. I am just giving you this example. Why? Because the mind has to come to a non-identity attachment with the Sharira. When there is a connection with that, when moon has identified that I am providing the light to the earth, then only he will get an ahankara. I am the provider. I am the karta, somebody is the bhokta, I am the vakta, I am the Shrota and Bhakta. Bhakta and he is a Shrota. When this identification comes, then only he will get Ahankara. But moon is unable to get it, or not getting it. But whereas my mind is getting it. See, I am the Sharira, I am so and so, I have got so much of money, I have got so much of wealth, I have got so much of influence, I have got so many children, I have got so much of family, I got this is what my mind is thinking. Based on that, my identity has been fixed by mind as X so and so, which are all absolutely fictitious, temporary. It doesn't approach itself to the jnanam at all. You see, this is what I am trying to tell. So, when you have that identity, your prana is affected. I mean, your prana, yama, is affected. That you are not allowing the prana to function as it should be, because it's a nature. Even though the moon is giving light, when the earth comes, when in the process of the rotation, when the earth partially or completely, when it comes in the way of the moon and the sun, now there is Amavasya and Paurnami takes place. An obstacle takes place. It's not because of the moon. Moon is not doing anything. Even though we say that Chaya of the moon, classification kya hai? Amavasya to the moon, Amavasya, Paurnami. For moon, it's always Paurnami only. There is no Amavasya. For who it is Amavasya? For the earth. Why? What is the reason why earth is getting Amavasya and Paurnami? Because the earth comes in between. It's the reason of the earth. It's not only the moon. If he can face the moon constantly, the moon will provide always the light. But because of the rotation of both the planets, yes, what happens? The obstacle takes place. There is an obstruction taking place. When an obstruction taking place, now automatically the projection of the light is not happening on that particular side of the earth. Whereas the other side, he has got Paurnami, but this side has got Amavasya. This side is day and that side is night. This all day. Why? Because of the obstacle. That means because of the obstacle created by the earth, earth is rotating, so it is creating day and night. Right? Same way. When the body and the mind is rotating, it creates day and night. Mind rotating means what? Mind is identifying itself as something else and all that. It is creating identity, day and night, or Amavasya and Paurnami into that. Whereas if the mind is stable, and focusing to the Antaratma and the Parabrahman, then it will always have the, like we have told in the here, like last chapter only, we explained about this, that in Chandogya Upanishads itself, that when they, for the purpose of meditation, for the person who is in the north, who is in the south, who is in the east and who is in the west, and things like that, but who is the one who is above all this, he doesn't have a sunrise or a sunset. Is it not? Urdhva, one who is above, he doesn't have a sunrise or sunset. That means he doesn't have the jnanam coming or jnanam losing. It's not there. He is constantly in the jnanam and he is able to visualize that how this transition is taking place, why it is taking place can be understood. We have learned it in the previous chapter, if I remember correct. So what I am trying to tell you is that Om Bhu Om Bhur. Bhur is that again the prana. So that the prana to function, we have to allow the prana to function. You don't have to create, nobody can create prana, as I told, I repeat. Nobody can create prana, nobody can control the prana. We are saying that we can control the prana, it is wrong. Let us allow the prana function as it is. Bhagwan bhi humse naraaz hai. Even the God is angry with me, defying me. We always say that. How wrong the statement is what I am telling about. They connected with the prana, we say. God's blessing is always here for everyone. Why? Because it doesn't bless anybody separately. Hey, you come according to the rosters. There is an attendance register is there. So and so come at 7 o'clock, I will give you Ashirvad. Another 7:30, no, nothing like that. All the time, always, in all the places, there is Ashirvad. Only thing we have to show our head, that's all. Ashirvad will come. But whenever, what we are doing, when there is Ashirvad, we immediately try to cover our head. No, I don't want it now. Is why we don't get Ashirvad, and we say that the God is defying me, God is not, God is angry with me. You have turned away from the God, so same way. When you turn away from the God, you turn away from the prana. When you turn away from the prana cannot function as it should function. Let the prana function as it is, that let the mind go into the natural way of functioning. Swabhava. Reveal the swabhava of you. That's what is called the identification of the self. Identification of Atma. Atma Sakshatkaram, self-realization. When I identify the self, the mind will not have an ownership of authority, of identity, of I am so and so, I am so and so, I am so and so. This mind, how we ourselves, let us think. We also have thought. We are also thinking. Right? Even now, I am so and so. This I am so and so, how long will it remain? Some of the I will remain only for 1 minute, and some of the I will remain 1 month, some I will remain for 10 years, some I will remain 20 years. But all the I's will finish the day you die. That is for sure, is it not? All the I's, whichever I you hold on to, all will go finished when you are dying. Is there any I left out? No. Because nobody is transport the I somewhere else. Identity. This identity has to be. I don't say Ahankara is not necessary, Ahankara is necessary, Ahankara will be necessary. As I told you in the last class, it is compartmentalized. I am executing certain karma for that particular period of time, for that particular karma, that I is applicable. So I must know temporarily that I told you about the representing a company and things like that. A lot of things we have discussed about it. How the I is identified, how the I should be identified. Will I be very conscious about that I, and am I proud of that I? Like an actor acting in the movie or in the drama. The moment he comes out of it, he is out of that character. He is not that character. Neither that actor is the character what he is. It's totally different. So he is functioning his karma for that much of time. So he must know that I am not this and I am not that. Neither I am this nor I am that. There I am acting for something else. Here I am acting for something else. That's okay. In the real life, one is acting for something else, and there it is acting for something else. There you are acting for money, fame, your passion, whatever it is. Here, for the purpose of execution of karmas. If one realizes this secret, he is a saint, sannyasi. So he has come out of that, fiction. That fiction which is there in the mind, and which is absolutely the false identity or false identification. Why I am telling so much is that one has to have the anchor of that inside the mind, and one should be very. That's why I am repeating this, so that in various ways we are trying to attack and find out, is there any way that then I can identify myself as something else, is what I'm trying to do. But I find there are no loopholes provided by the Lord. Yes. No. Absolutely no passage. Everywhere I am blocked. So that's why I asked, how long will the I will be there? I am Acharya, I am Guru, I am disciple. How long? No identity. Ishwaratva, Devikata, Diyo, Yonaha Prachodayat. That's all. So, Om, Bhur, Prana. Then comes, I think we'll talk the Bhuva next class. Otherwise, once I start, I don't want to stop in between. Then I won't get the link, because it's a flow, you see, otherwise it doesn't come. So the repetition, prana, let us allow the prana to function. The pranayama, physical exercise is good. I am not denying that. They make you function all right. They make the things easier, and everything is okay. But it has limitation. Don't consider that pranayama as the pranayama of the apana, samana, vyana, prana, udana. That's all what I meant to say. This pranayama is that making a forceful breathing between the lungs and the nose. During this process, certain pressures are created to the certain nervous system and vessels, and which opens up certain blockages in the physical body. And according to the pranayama practitioners, they also say that there is a mental body which also gets developed during the process of pranayama. It's a yogic practice. For that, there are certain different pranayamas are there. It's not the physical pranayama, just what we are doing. Certain things which you have to hold the breath and things like that, where you get the capacity of it. Like Maharishis, Tapasvis do it. They have absolutely fine breathing system, and they can even go under the earth and live there for 10 years. They don't have to breathe. Things like that. That's pranayama. You see, that pranayama will make that means identity has to be different. That's all. External breathing is not necessary. That means he is not connected with the external breathing. Oxygen, this what we call it as pranayama, is that connected with the breathing the air inside and throwing it out with all the, including the oxygen and other things also goes in that. That is okay, necessary for certain limits, certain things it is good, and we should do it. Nothing wrong in it. But what we are talking, Upanishad is talking about the prana as apana, samana, prana, udana, vyana, where it has its own function, by its own intelligence, its function. A physical body or a physical exercise cannot make it function. Only by thinking process, by mind, has to function. That's what I am bringing it to the gist of it. The knowledge makes, ultimately what I am coming to tell you, like Bhagavan said, I am the prana in the Jivatma, he said. In Bhagavad Gita, I am the Visha in the Kala Guda Visha or the Hala Hala Visha. I am Gayatri in the mantras. This is what he said. Aham Gayatri. I am Gayatri in mantras. I am prana in the pranas. What is that? That source, that jnanam, absolute jnanam is that prana. It's not the breathing that is prana. It's why Bhagavan said, I am the prana. That is what Bhagavad Gita said. Do you remember? Chapter, I think it's in the 4th. I don't remember exactly. That is prana. So differentiate this prana, what I am talking about is that. So when the mind is capable of absorbing the knowledge and reflecting that knowledge to the bhuva, bhur, that to the prithvi, to the panchabhutas, then it is the prana functioning properly. Some people say that उसका प्राण रुक गया, उसका प्राण अटक गया, प्राण अटक गया. कि कोई खेत है क्या, वो पानी बंद करने के लिए दो चार मिट्टी का ये ढेला ढेल के उसके बंद कर दिया तो वो पानी बहना बंद हो गया, अटक गया, प्राण भी अटक गया. Absolutely right. This can be done. By our thinking process, प्राण अटक जाता है. You know, by the thought process. For that jnanam is required. With that jnanam, we have to provide the reflection. So marasa, has to be provided to the mind. Mind opens. That's what's called mind opening up. It's not sankuchita manobhava, we call it. Sankuchita manobhava. Where the limitations have been created by the mind in order to identify things is called sankuchita manobhava, whereas the open-mindedness, which is called the vikasita manobhava, is that which is where mana is not getting attracted to that classifications of identities created by the impressions of the external objective experiences. Om Shanti. Shambhu.